Today is August 14th, 2025. Yesterday, out at my doctor's office, idiots were there. Stupid idiots. Hmm? You know, I would like to know why they didn't throw them out. Do you know when I had a hard ball wax in my ear? I had to have it taken out by Ohio head and neck surgeon, ear surgeon. Did in the offices real quick. In fact, they were talking, they said some psychiatrist showed up and was bad mouthing her, saying if she was ever part of an FBI case, to tell him not to believe her and da da da. We told him to get out of here. We didn't want to hear it. It is what's going on, isn't it? She was part of an FBI case. That's why they run around bad mouthing her. Because she was actually part of one. I didn't say a word. But we told them they're not welcome here and to get out. By federal law, they are to kick them out. Actually, they should have called the police. HIPAA violations. They're not allowed to talk to anybody and they're not my doctor. Yesterday, now, someone comes in and tries to talk to your doctor, HIPAA violations, they're to kick them out. You don't give them consent to talk to them, they are to kick them out. We're not allowed to discuss you. HIPAA. Right? Right. You know, where I got my dog bite money, and I've got a few stubborn places I wanted fat removed. They had laughed around me that they would go out to my doctor and say stuff so he wouldn't do it right. So goof it up. Sure enough. Last couple of months, they were out there lying to him, some lady. Now that John verified it for Will, we got and something about a doctor from before tape. The doctor that's not mine works for them, and they had lied, and it's just some guy named Pete that bugged me up for Dave about lying. Just that we got agreement with law enforcement, no one can help her, and we won't say a word. It's like, say a word, bitch, I'll own you. I'm tired of these idiots and these doctors not throwing the idiots out. Not calling the cops on them. Yesterday, I had some lady in there cackling. I didn't know they'd done it in her head. I didn't know they hurt her. I thought they were just making fun of her for being weird with herself. I was never weird with myself. It's not even my body ratio. See, when the case first started, I was like 233 pounds. 220 something. I was 50, 60 pounds heavier than I am now. I was huge. See, that's where that one investigator said, I forgot how big Karen was. Did a body ratio of the weird with herself? Wasn't even her. Well, where they said they photoshopped a shower scene and washing herself, here they just put my head on somebody else's body. That's why where these people lied that Danny and Jen reported it. Oh, they had an attorney and reported it. They don't have an attorney and they didn't report it and they won't have anything to do with it. They lie. Just like John never badmouthed me. He told in front of FBI and the police, no one could say anything bad about me. He even defended me straight to them when they interviewed him. Nothing bad ever happened to him. That's where that investigator, showed up, and he held it out in Walmart. I told that couple never to say a word to her again. I interviewed John years ago. He said nothing bad happened to him. They all did. That's where March 23rd, 23, 2 FBI agents. We told these people to stay out of this. We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. And it was just some lady thought she could make money off of it. They announced right after 18, they interviewed my whole family. They spoke highly of me. See, this was Dave's bitch move. Stalking tapes. Where girls laughed at these people. You gotta be kidding me. Their whole backup plan, if she didn't die, was stalking tapes. That's all they had. Where they photoshopped washing herself and washing in another room. That's all they had. And where they roofied her and drugged her up and told her to say something. That's all they had. That was their whole backup plan. You gotta be kidding me. And they were laughing at her. It's pathetic, but that was it. Where they photoshopped washing in the shower in the other room and drugged me up and told me to say something horrible. That was their whole backup plan. So yesterday outside the room, some guy said, "You're lucky." John said, not to say anything with what's going on. Whenever they say what's going on, that's the scam. Is what did John already tell him? Nothing bad ever happened to him. He's not with what's going on. Just like, don't say a word, that attorney's gonna, for the tape of Weird With Yourself, the attorney for the boys, and Danny and Jen, and with what's going on, how they took their money, there's nothing going on. They don't have an attorney. They're lying. John don't have an attorney. Everything is a lie. Whenever they say, with what's going on, what's going on is they're scamming you. See, those people even said they used hypnotic drugs. Makes sleepwalking. Went on Google, causes a bitter taste in your mouth and sleepwalking. 10 to 20 other prescription drugs make you sleepwalk. They did it to a U.S. Marshals kid, Dar, my neighbor Mike, and a lot of other people, besides me. Roofied them with drugs that take effect immediately, and the room goes dizzy and black, and then you're sleepwalking. You know how mad it makes me? When I'm in an office, that office needs to have enough integrity to throw those people out. Doing their hate crime there. Think of they're stupid. I want you to think about that. You know how bad this is? I had a facelift years ago. Okay? I went to Dr. Karp. And he didn't do it right. Right here, dents in. I have to put filler there because it will dent in. And then I have some numbness here. But I had all that extra skin where I was so heavy. Okay? I had a lot of deep wrinkles and I had to have that skin pulled up. He didn't pull it tight enough. Okay? Well, that's why I'm always getting like treatments trying to get it to tighten up other stuff. But he should have pulled it clear up like this. And he didn't. They were calling and bad-mouthing him. Bad-mouthing me to him. Instead of hanging up on him, calling the cops. He didn't. I reported him. After my surgery, I had a CO2 laser to the face. He didn't numb it real good. It was excruciating. I had to go back a few more times. And back in 21, they were heavy of mocking me how they framed me in front of the police and feds. I go in and the nurse went, well, how are you? I said, well, we'll put it this way, not really good. I said, my ex-husband, we moved out there. They roofied me. I'd take a drink and the room would go dizzy and back with injection marks, throwing up, almost passing out. And I said, in fact, here they drugged me and told me to say horrible stuff, laughing in my face. They drugged me and told me to say weird and monster stuff, mocking me in stores in front of people. And the next person drugged me and is supposed to have told me to say this, and I'd never seen her talk to anybody. They're supposed to Photoshop their shower scene, and they have people mocking me in stores how they frame me. And you know what's really sick? With each and every one where they laughed and they drugged me and told me to say stuff, they drugged me and told me to say this, where I had bruises throwing up. And I said, I vomited from these people mocking me. I said, and each person would get the next craziness of what the other person got. And the reality is all gone of what was real and what wasn't. It's just their drugged lies. And the last person was. And I said, and I never seen her talk to anybody. I said, do you know how illegal it is to drug somebody for a fake confession? It's like 20 to life. Her mouth dropped open. Doctor came in, did his injections, got myself composed to walk out. Had his back to me on the phone. You tell those people for a son that had me before the surgery, while she was under anesthetic, to ask her a bunch of questions and tape her, that I'm not interested in helping them. I didn't realize what I've done. And I want no part of this. I realize what I've done. Oh, I reported it to the police right away. The camera's there. Find out who he was talking to. Do you realize that's a 30-year sentence? You drug somebody for any kind of confession. It's pharmaceutical torture. And then he did it on Altman Hospital's property. And he did it for people to run a scam. And then underneath those drugs, do you know how many times? I want you to think about this. How many times does the anesthesiologist will laugh at you at how bad people lie under anesthesia? They'll tell them you love them, you want to go out with them, you think they're handsome or beautiful. They'll tell you any kind of crazy story in the world because they're high. And they lie under it. It's illegal to question somebody that is intoxicated. It's not admissible. But I reported him. He had no right to violate me. And when I had that surgery, I had riffraff everywhere. They thought they were going to pull a fast one. Have him on Altman Hospital ground after they drugged me up for the facelift, that he'd question me and I wouldn't know what he did, and like they could actually use it. When I told that nurse how they had laughed, they drugged me and told me to say all that crazy crap, and all you get is crazy crap out of me, and what the person said before, and I never seen her talk to anybody, and it's like 20 years to life. It's like these doctors around here have no common sense what HIPAA is. Let alone any kind of medical ethics of doing no harm, and they can't work for them, and they can't do something so horrible and evil Like that doctor said, I didn't realize what I've done. The reality of life in federal. That's how not funny he is. I didn't go back after that. He's still practicing medicine. Nobody did anything to him. I'd like to know why. Because I needed the police to do an investigation. They had what? Who he was talking to actually had him do it. Because that's the most person I'm after. Is the person he was talking to. Because it wasn't my kid. My kid would tell you, don't you dare touch my mother. See, the difference of it is, even where investigators had said, John even said, do you tell them not to use my name to harm my mother or thinking you can exploit her or try to steal from her. You don't use my name to do it. See, that's where they were even trying to make Josh out to be this big thief. He said, I won't have my name used that somebody's going to exploit their mother. Or think they can use or my name to steal from her. Where Danny and Jen said they wanted nothing to do with this either. See the whole thing? It's just them. When they say what's going on, it's just them. It's their scam. What is going on? When the reality check is they're harming and exploiting people, and they're corrupting even medical people to go along with this, and they know better. They ought to be kicking them out of the office like Ohio neck and head surgeon. You're not welcome here. HIPAA violations, you can't come in here and talk to me. Right? Right. I can't talk to you. Get out. That's what they ought to be doing. Let alone that shitty thing they had Carp do during the case. They act like, see, that's where they act like they did something like that to me before, and I doubt it. I think that they just had Carp do it. Because my ex-husband, yeah. And that he told Danny it was just some guy named Petey did it. Some guy named Pete. He hired on his own up there a drug dealer. Just some guy and his men. It was Pete and his men in her home before. Pete has her frame. Pete has her tape, the filthy, dirty statement. Just some guy named Pete. Not a doctor. Not. See, that's where they were trying to say, well, they got some kind of weird court order of being in our home before. No, they've hired some guy named Pete on his own. Just some guy. Some drug dealer. And that's where I told you, I bet it's not an attorney's office. I bet there's no real, where they said, Michelle told on him the doctor from before wasn't one of mine, works for them, and they lied. I bet he's not even a doctor. Where if you show up and say something about me to the police station, the FBI is to detain you. I mean, the police are to detain you till the FBI gets there. You're going to start getting prosecuted for this. It's about time. It's been 7 years. But they had the cartel to go after. And like they said, you've made it fun of an FBI agent for falling for this. Oh, now you called him a coward. August 5th. August 4th. That they used hypnotic drugs on me to make me sleepwalk before. You know, it used to just be as Steve and Eric did it. That's the way the riffraff were talking, but Dave said he just hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in her home before. That's where the Steve and Eric was supposed to have done it. I don't know who they are. Wanted stalkers, and Eric it's supposed to have been him. November 1822, all the dates before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it for all these people. Turn on, they fell for it. Jackass. But it's just some guy Dave hired off the street. to kick in the door, do the stalking tapes, the drug confessions, and photoshopping and washing. It's a drug cartel. Like Officer Mark said, it was a drug cartel in their home before. You know, they were talking about that dark-haired girl yesterday, her and her friends following around harassing me. That had been 7 years, and she needs to get over it. Dave manipulated her and her friends to help out, and she needs to get over it. He used her. Oh, yeah. He used everybody. He manipulated everybody into helping out. See, you got to think their whole backup plan is basically, like they said, you got to be kidding me. They photoshopped washing in the shower in another room and washing yourself. That's it. And they drugged her and roofied her and told her to say something horrible. That's a whole backup plan. If she didn't die, their whole backup plan was they drugged her and told her to say it before. And they photoshopped washing yourself in another room, and that was it. Now, I want you to think you guys run around with your hate crime. How, with what's going on, we're going to get everything. With what's going on, that's how you know it's a scam for what's going on. There's nothing going on, but they're scamming you. No one's to say what's going on because the police passed out all our money. No, they didn't. For what's going on, that attorney has a court order to get all our money. No, they don't. For what's going on, they said not to say a word because they're getting money for them. No, they didn't. It's a scam. For what's going on is they're scamming you. My whole family defended me. And hell would freeze over before John would help Melissa with her breaking in their home. Actually his home after the divorce. Hiding, lunging at him, coming out of the bathroom, screaming. Startled him, so he shoved her, "Now I got you." Had him arrested. Had to bail out of jail, fines, courts. Lost his kids for a year. Called me at 19 or 20. He's like, "Mom, I need a reliable name to put on the court records to pick him up from school. John, I work 2 jobs. I barely make it now." He said, "Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever." I said, "John, I'll lose my apartment. I can't help you. I'm sorry." He said, "But if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids. These are my kids." I said, "John, I won't have a place to live. I don't get off the first job, let alone the second." He lost his kids. Moved to Florida years ago. Remarried to a beautiful lady. Looks very happy. Comes sees his kids a couple times a year. Hal would freeze over before he'd help Melissa. Is electrical design engineer. They make 95 to 145. She's been one for over 10 years. She probably makes 145. John was complaining he has to give her like 30,000 in child support. She makes 145 to 175,000. He'd tell you if she can't make it on that great income, tell her to go get 2 jobs. She wanted to be sole parent so bad, tell her to figure it out herself. See, that's my kid. See, those are when they say that my kids tell them, "Don't use my name to hurt my mother or try to steal from her." That's my kids. You don't use my name. Or nobody will talk about me that I'm the type of person that would try to steal from their mother and exploit her. See what I mean? Integrity. You have to teach it. But I tell you what, that's where these people ran around in 18 and 19. They drugged you and told you to say this. They drugged you and told you to say that. So I used to run around the monkey what they were supposed to drug me and told me to say. I got tired of it. People look at me like I'm crazy. See, what they did is they were trying to break up everybody's, where we were a tight-knit family. Loved each other. Everybody loved each other. Break us all. They said last Saturday down at Souls, some guy was talking, said the guy that helped destroy everyone. Said he regrets it with that idiot leaving the country. Why would you destroy innocent people? We didn't do anything to you. Dave wanted a divorce. Just divorce me. What would have happened? He paid me a little more alimony. He had kept your nasty selves out of this. What would have happened? He would have had his big job up there. His big house. What would I have got the puppies he threw in the pound? Threw them away. What would have happened? I got a couple more pieces of furniture. He made over $115,000, $120,000 a year. He could have replaced it. What would have happened? You wouldn't have put your nasty selves in this. I would have been remarried years ago. Where you guys make fun of me and call me ugly. For somebody who's almost 60, I was 51. I'm not a bad looking older lady. A lot of people think I'm beautiful. I even had somebody say something about me and Carl yesterday. Can't believe she's with that old guy. Well, they said she's almost 60. She don't look it. That's what the whole thing of it is. She's almost 60. She just don't look it. I passed for my 40s. I'm almost 60. I was 51 when it started. See, these people, where Agent John even told Apostolic Church of Barberton, he knew I was being drug beaten, raped, and didn't care. A strange called me a faker, and it was a medication error. Medical malpractice. And he even told them he was going to turn me back over to him. He was going to defraud me. It's supposed to be mean to other women. I already told the FBI hotline I had nothing to do with them for years. No phone number, no connection, didn't go to church with him, didn't see him. Well, how would you know it's them? How wouldn't you know? I know these 3 ladies in the mall and one of their church people where I've had these weird attempts is breaking. It's them. It's the only reason I know. They pushed my kid to suicide in 03. I had nothing to do with them for 7 or 8 years. They were making up a bunch of stories on me. Got back to another church. I went over there, visited twice in 2010 or 2011. I didn't find out what the stories was, and I didn't go back because those people pushed my kid to suicide here in 03. I had nothing to do with them again for years. I don't have their phone numbers, their address, no contact. But they are saying that they're doing this because that minister made up a shitty lie in 03. They're leaving threats in the mall where I've had attempts that it's them. So he knew I wasn't mean to anyone. I had no contact with him. Now I want you to think about this. Where the Tuscarora sheriff said that they are using some doctor that is not one of hers and works for them. And they are trying to say he's a doctor from before. And they are to detain them and they show up and say one word. And they may have stolen somebody else's medical records and put her name on it. One person says one word about her. They are to detain him. And call the FBI. They've made fun of an FBI agent for falling for this. June 7th, 23. FBI agent John fell for the stunt a days before. Oh, come on now. It's only a stunt. Dared the FBI to fix it. July 9th, 23, July 8th, 23, 10 o'clock in the morning. Dared the FBI to fix it. Publicly mocked everyone, how they made everything up to get away with this. This whole thing is a scam. Repeatedly for years. Then they find another fool to go along with this. Until they find out it's Bill from the Freemason, his friends and family scamming everyone. The whole thing's a scam. Up in Summit Mall, April's, I'll have to look it up. They were mocking it. Bill from the Freemasons big scam. Had some guy tape her in the shower washing herself, photoshopped that in another room, had another guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Ran a scam of who could steal her money and scammed everybody into helping out. It's a big scam. The whole thing is. When you realize that they're just scamming everybody. And now we're, what was it, August 4th, they were laughing that they used hypnotic drugs on. So I'd be sleepwalking while I had a metal taste in my mouth. And then August 5th, down in Souls, or not Souls, but Dutch Valley Restaurant, some girl said that she was trying to date a drug lord, having her friends have me, have them have her and her friends help harass me so some drug lord will date her. He's gonna sell you honey. How many people that were supposed to date him? Then it's coming out that it's just Bill from the Freemason. He's married. He's scamming everybody. And there is a Russian involved and Iraqi. And they were paying for a lot of this. And a lot of them are scammers. And then you got the Gentleman's Club from Florida. The Henry Maffies group. The one that worked for Judge Peters. That's where the Russian comes involved. Then the Middle Eastern, well, work for the king from Texas. We are his men. All law enforcement's after the Texas group because they killed agents. See, that's where on August 5th down at Dutch Valley Restaurant, those idiots were, that girl was in there saying it. That some drug lord said he'd take her out if her and her friends harassed me. And as if Agent John didn't know they weren't using hypnotic drugs on me. And what is he, some kind of coward? He didn't even care that they raped and tortured her. Call him a coward. They talked about that in Walmart 62 and in Maslin. They have all admitted that they used hypnotic drugs that made her sleepwalk. They even announced what kind of drugs they were using. There's over 10 to 20 drugs, prescription drugs, cause sleepwalking. And now they've called Agent John a coward. You know, Agent John were that idiot in my old apartment. I want that agent to show up here. I want him to explain himself. He said he didn't care what we did to her. And then a bunch of the drug dealers helping out went to jail. I want him to explain himself. You should have a cop pick him up, take him to a police station. You should be waiting in there. Say I came here to explain myself. You're under arrest. You have the right to remain quiet. Just arrest him. My God, you got him for attempted murder. Human trafficking, rape, torture, voyeurism. Illegal monitoring is a felony invasion of privacy. Cyber stalking, sextortion. Racketeering. Obtaining and selling kiddie porn to little kids going potty. He has 100 years. Everyone for participating in this has 100 years if you slap the charges on them. They should not get away with this. It is a dangerous, dangerous group. They call it a large extortion group, drugging people for fake confessions and photoshopping. on their own than setting off hate crimes on the internet, having people harassed. And it's just groups doing it. For the woman too ugly for another man, the one the world should make fun of. Why should you make fun of me for some idiot drugging me up and telling me to say something stupid and Photoshop washing? Why are you helping drug dealers to scam people? You should be horrified. Get a common sense in your head. Agent John, I like my money. They are so afraid you're going to give me my money. They want it. They're piranhas. I need my money. They can never touch me. It's all a con. The whole thing's a con. When you pull back the illusion of who these people are, they're just con men. But they're also killers. They are actually killers. They do sell people. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. I may put off having that lipo done. I would love to have a few little places taken out. But I was hoping someone would have showed up yesterday and said something to him that those people, like Officer Mark's been out there years ago, that those people are just pulling a fast one. They show up, I want pictures of them. I want to know who you talk to. Because we're going after them. They're conning you. Her kids all spoke highly of her. She never hurt anyone. They're all lying to you. They roofied her and told her to say stuff. You know there's a felony invasion of privacy. People can't break in people's home and drug them up, fake sodium pentothal reports. She never seen her talk to anyone. See, that's where an investigator said when you look at her, the only thing she knows, she never seen her talk to anybody. She never had anybody in her home. That's all she knows. Where these people run around laughing how they drug me up and told me to say horrible stuff, I never seen them. I took a drink out of a drink in the room with Dizzy and Black. I woke up with injection marks and orange, lemon, and grapefruit-sized bruises all over me. And severely personal affection, throwing up and almost passing out. Went to the doctor, what on earth is wrong with me? It's a well water giving me cancer and I'm trying to make sense of what is wrong with me. And they try to give me stuff for being anemic, iron pills. They documented all this. And a severe swollen personal infection. I'm blaming the dirty orange well water, thinking it's giving me cancer and it's toxic. And here I'm being drug beat rained and no memory of what happened. I have 3 weird memories that I thought they were nightmares. Sound of footsteps, a white man's arm with a white dress shirt, gray pinstripe, and a syringe coming at me in the room going dark. I'm feeling like my back's being ripped open to my chest, and every cell in my body screaming in agony. And I can't see and I can't breathe. And every part of my body is in agony. I thought they were nightmares. They are their drug tastes. You don't get money for that. You get life in general. I never seen or talked to anybody. I never had anybody in my home. I never even had my neighbors in my home. Family repair guys and installation guys, and 2 silly cops on August 8 of 18, like in the outside security system, told me I looked like an alien orb or an angry spirit and told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle. They didn't want bothered out there, and here I'm being drug beat and raped in my own home. I'm being human trafficked out of that house. They didn't want bothered. That's that sick. So when you look at me, I'll be like the investigator. Realize I never seen her talk to anybody, and I knew nothing. Far as she knows, she never had anybody in her home. She never seen her talk to anybody. That's all she knows. I thought it was they're giving me cancer. And people make fun of me for rapists, harming me, and how they hurt me, and exploited me, and how they're running this big con. And medical doctors going along with any of it, they know. They know. That's where you see the ones with integrity and the ones without. They'll throw them out.